and fell backwards downstairs. The candlelight streamed down into the hall, and I got the shock of my life, because as Uncle Shadrach went pitching down them steps, yelling bloody murder, they sounded a bull's roar below, and out of the room at the foot of the stair came prancing a huge figure waving a shotgun in one hand and pulling on his breeches with the other. It was Cousin Buckner, which I thought was safe in Wolf Canyon. That had been him which Kit heard come in and go to bed a while before. "What's going on here?" he roared. "What you doing, Shadrach?" "Get out of my way!" screamed Uncle Shadrach. "I just seen the devil in the form of a zebra jackass. Let me out of here!" He busted out of the house and jumped the fence and went up the road like a quarter hoss, and Cousin Buckner ran out behind him. The moon was just coming up, and Kit and Harry was just starting down the road. When she seen her old man erupt from the house, Kit screeched like a scared catamount, and Buckner heard her. He whirled and seen the buckboard rattling down the road, and he knowed what was happening. He give a beller and let bam at 'em with his shotgun, but it was too long a range. "Where's my hoss?" he roared, and started for the corral. I knowed if he got straddle of that dern long-legged bay gelding of his, he'd ride them poor infants down before they went 10 miles. I jumped down out of the tree and yelled, "Hey there, Cousin Buckner! Hey, Buck!" He whirled and shot the tail off of my coonskin cap before he seen who it was. "What you mean, jumping down on me like that?" he roared. "What you doing up that tree? Where you come from?" "Never mind that," I said. "You want to catch Harry Braxton before he gets away with your gal, don't you? Don't stop to saddle a hoss. I got a light wagon hitched up behind the corral. We can run 'em down easy in that." "Let's go!" he roared, and in no time at all we was off, him standing up in the bed and cussing and waving his shotgun. "I'll have his sculp!" he roared. "I'll pickle his heart and feed it to my hound dogs. Can't you go no faster?" Them dern mules was a lot faster than I'd thought. I didn't dare hold 'em back for fear Buckner'd get suspicious, and the first thing I knowed we was overhauling the buckboard foot by foot. Harry's critters weren't much account, and Cousin Bill Gordon's mules was laying their bellies to the ground. I don't know what Kit thought when she looked back and seen us tearing after 'em, but Harry must have thought I was betraying 'em. Otherwise he wouldn't have opened up on me with his 6-shooter. But all he done was knock some splinters out of the wagon and nick my shoulder. The old man would have returned the fire with his shotgun, but he was scared he might hit Kit, and both vehicles was bounding and bouncing along too fast and furious for careful aiming. All to onst we come to a place where the road forked, and Kit and Harry taking the right-hand turn. I'd taken the left. "Are you crazy, you blame fool?" roared Cousin Buckner. "Turn back and take the other road." "I can't," I responded. "These mules is running away." "You're a liar!" howled Cousin Buckner. "Quit pouring leather onto them mules, you blasted expletive, and turn back. Turn back, cuss you!" With that he started hammering me in the head with the stock of his shotgun. We was thundering along a road which run along the rim of a sloping bluff, and when Buckner's shotgun went off accidentally, the mules really did get scared and started running away, just about the time I reached back to take the shotgun away from Cousin Buckner. Being beat in the head with the butt was getting awful monotonous, 'cause he'd been doing nothing else for the past half-mile. I yanked the gun out of his hand, and just then the left hind wheel hit a stump and the hind end of the wagon went straight up in the air and the pole splintered. The mules run right out of the harness, and me and the wagon and Cousin Buckner went over the bluff and down the slope in a whirling tangle of wheels and legs and heads and profanity. We brung up against a tree at the bottom, and I throwed the ruins off of me and riz, swearing fervently when I saw how much money I'd have to pay Cousin Bill Gordon for his wagon. But Cousin Buckner give me no time for meditation. He'd untangled hisself from a hind wheel and was doing a war dance in the moonlight and frothing at the mouth. "You done that on purpose!" he raged. "You never aimed to catch them wretches! You taken the wrong road on purpose! You turned us over on purpose! Now I'll never catch the scoundrel which run away with my dadder! The poor, dumb, trustin', expletive innercent!" "Be calm, Cousin Buckner," I advised. "He'll make her a good husband. They're well onto their way to war paint and a happy married life. Best thing you can do is forgive 'em and give 'em your blessing." "Well," he snarled, "you ain't neither my daughter or my son-in-law. Here's my blessing to you." It was a poor return for all the trouble I'd taken, for him to push me into a cactus bed and hit me with a rock the size of a watermelon. However, I'd taken into consideration that he was overwrought and not himself, so I ignored his incivility and made no retort whatever outside of splintering a wagon spoke over his head. I then clomb the bluff, making no reply to his impassioned and profane comments, and looked around for the mules. They hadn't run far. I seen 'em grazing down the road, and I started after 'em, when I heard horses galloping back up the road toward the settlement, and around a turn in the road come Uncle Jepperd Grimes, with his whiskers streaming in the moonlight, and 9 or 10 of his boys riding hard behind him. "There he is!" he howled, impulsively discharging his 6-shooter at me. "There's the fiend in human form! There's the kidnapper of helpless Jassicks! Boys, do your duty!" They pulled up around me and started piling off their horses with blood in their eyes and weapons in their hands. "Hold on," I says. "If it's Joshua you fools are after—" "He admits the crime!" howled Uncle Jepperd. "Is it Joshua, says you? You know darn well it is. We've been combing the hills for you ever since my granddaughter brought me the news. What you done with him, you scoundrel?" "Aw," I said, "he's all right. I was just going to—" "He evades the question!" screamed Uncle Jepperd. "Get him, boys!" "I tell you he's all right," I roared, but they give me no chance to explain. Them Grimeses is all alike. You can't tell 'em nothing. You gotta knock it into their fool heads. They descended on me with fence rails and rocks and wagon spokes and loaded quirks and gun stocks in a way which would have tried the patience of a saint. I always try to be as patient with my errand relatives as I can be. I merely taken their weapons away from 'em and kind of pushed 'em back away from me. And if they'd look where they fell, Jim and Joe and Erath wouldn't have fell down off that bluff and broke their arms and legs. And Bill wouldn't have fractured his skull agin that tree. I handled them as easy as babies and kept my temper in spite of Uncle Jepperd dancing around on his hoss and yelling, "Lay into him, boys! Don't be scared of the big grizzly! He can't hurt us!" and shooting at me every time he thought he could shoot without hitting one of his own offspring. He did puncture 2 or 3 of 'em and then blamed me for it, the old jackass. Nobody could have acted with more restraint than I did when Dick Grimes broke the blade of his bowie knife off on my hip bone, and the 7 fractured ribs I give his brother Jacob was a mild retaliation for chawing my ear like he done. But it was an ill-advised impulse which prompted Esau